Well, good morning yet, I guess, for another 10 minutes. Thank you guys for coming out today. We're here to discuss some very important bills that we're taking up today on the floor. We're excited about getting a couple bills done today, making sure that we expand postpartum coverage. Thanks to Senator James for all of his work on that bill, and then to discuss some public safety bills. We've done some already this session, but making sure that we keep Wisconsin as safe as possible. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Senator Jesse James to talk about the postpartum bill.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here today. As a proud dad and Poppers, that's my nickname is Poppers. My wife's Lolly, so we're Lollipop. I know how joyful kids can be in lives today, and also how overwhelming bringing a child into the world today can be as well. And my wife and I, we have two granddaughters. We just welcomed our third one into this world, which is extremely exciting. And even with all the love and support in the world, it's not always easy. So that's why today matters. Today matters for our children, our mothers. We have a real opportunity to make a meaningful difference in Wisconsin, and especially for our families. Right now, as you all may know, we're one of two states that don't have the extension of postpartum coverage for moms beyond 60 days. A gap that leaves far too many women without the care they need during one of the most critical times in their lives. It's a simple, meaningful step that can change outcomes for families across our state. We have a responsibility to show up for our moms. We have a responsibility to show up for our children. And by extending this coverage to 12 months, this bill will ensure that mothers who already qualify don't lose access to essential health services when they need them the most. During the public hearing on this, we heard from Ann May, who woke up in the middle of the night unable to breathe due to heart failure. Or mothers like Sally, who suffered from preeclampsia, needing to be monitored for hypertension, renal damage, and other organ failure after having her daughter, and suffered from a hemorrhage after the birth of her son. That's why we're here today. Those moms are why we are here today. Their stories of life-threatening heart conditions, postpartum complications, and the postpartum depression are a testament to the strength and courage of mothers everywhere across our state. It is a true honor to bring Senate Bill 23 forward on their behalf. Behind every statistic is a mother, a baby, and a family doing their best to get through the hardest days. Let's give them the care they need and an opportunity to thrive. I'm going to turn it over to Senate President Mary Felskowski.
Thank you, Senator James. You heard from Senator James the moral and ethical and basically why this should be done. This should be done because it's basically the right thing to do. But it's also fiscally the right thing to do for the citizens and the taxpayers in the state of Wisconsin. We know, according to the CDC, a full 30% of pregnancy-related deaths occur 43 to 365 days postpartum. When this is happening, and oh, by the way, 84% of those pregnancy-related deaths are preventable. When moms are going through challenges post-pregnancy, that also has an effect on our infants. If moms are not covered under Medicaid, they're going into the emergency room, which by the way is the most expensive type of care, and they're going in without being covered, which puts additional burdens onto our hospitals and our healthcare systems. This also leads stress on our infants, and when those infants aren't striving, it leads to additional care and additional costs down the road. I don't mean to talk about this sterile, but in my past life, sitting on Joint Finance, I had the pleasure of doing the DHS budget, and we've seen what those additional costs were to the taxpayers. Loss in insurance and coverage gaps postpartum leads to prevention of identifying chronic health conditions, not only for the child but for the mother, delayed family planning, leading to additional pregnancies too soon, adding to stress on the mom, delayed substance use disorder treatments. A lot of times we see this in the mom, and if we can get those nipped in the bud, it helps the mom, but again, keep in mind, this is always helping that infant. Difficulties in identifying and treating postpartum depression and anxiety. We see this, and there's no socioeconomic and postpartum depression. We don't, it can happen to the richest people, it can happen to the poorest people, and it spans all different races. It spans all different checkbooks. So by doing this, we are not only helping the moms, the infants, but also the taxpayers in the state of Wisconsin. So thank you very much to all of my colleagues who are voting for this and getting it across the finish line for the citizens in the state. I would now like to turn it over to Senator Rob Hutton.
Thank you, President Felskowski, and thank you for being here this morning. We are, again, emphasizing as Republicans the importance that we place on public safety and helping those in law enforcement do the job that we're asking them to do. Two bills that will be on the floor today is Senate Bill 66, which is authored by Senator Weingard, that also with law enforcement experience, that many of us grew up watching really cool 007 movies where his exotic vehicle went down the road and the front license plate flipped to reveal either a weapon or, in many cases, just a greasy element to deter those that were chasing after him. Unfortunately, today we have the real world that has caught up with Hollywood, and the technology now exists for individuals to actually put a device on their vehicle to flip the license plate, with the motive of making it very difficult for those in law enforcement to either track them down or to catch them initially. Senator Weingard recognized that concern, and so there is a bill on the floor that will make those devices illegal to purchase, to produce, and to install on any vehicle here in the state of Wisconsin, with an effort to make it easier for law enforcement to track the bad folks who are trying to deter what is rightly going to be their punishment. It comes with a potential fine up to $1,000 and or potentially 90 days in jail. And so that is an important bill, again, for an additional tool for law enforcement to go about doing the work that we've asked them to do. The second bill that will be on the floor this afternoon is Senate Bill 76, which is a requirement for a prosecutor who is looking to either dismiss or amend a current charge to get court approval before proceeding with that sentence. Right now, law enforcement continues to tell us that there is a small majority in the community, including in Milwaukee, that are the repeat offenders that have come before a court and have seen real leniency in allowing them to be back on the streets much sooner than they should be. We're going to ask for accountability and transparency within our court system to require those prosecutors to get, number one, court approval from a judge who is one of our elected officials, and also requiring that court system to produce a report every year that outlines for the general public as well as us as legislators when a court made a decision or a prosecutor made a decision to dismiss or amend a case to a lesser charge. I think that's important for the general public to know. It's important for us as legislators to know just how well our courts are doing in ensuring that they're providing the support necessary for law enforcement that continue to arrest the same individuals day after day after day. This is specific to violent crimes like violent crimes against individual children, sexual assaults, including unlawful use or possession of a firearm. It will be an important piece of legislation that we see get through. We hope to have bipartisan support, again, to do the work that we are called to make sure we keep the public safe. Any questions? Happy to answer them. Otherwise, I will turn it back to Majority Leader Devin LeMahieu.
All right, opening up for questions, if there are any questions.
Senator, today the governor said he would not support a tax cut plan that is outside the state budget. I know that was your preference to do it as a separate bill. Your response to that, and do you still plan to have a separate plan from the assemblies?
We still plan, I've been working very well with the speaker this session, meeting with the governor and trying to find, we have a Republican legislature, a Democrat as our governor. We think it's best for the state of Wisconsin to get a budget passed and to provide tax relief. So we'll continue to try, work with the governor and see if we can find consensus.
What are the state of negotiations from your viewpoint with the governor?
I'm not going to discuss what we're talking about, but we don't have our next meeting scheduled yet, but we're looking forward to future meetings.
Yesterday, we saw a bill circulate that would end holdover appointments like we saw with Frank Green and Megan Wolf. Is that something your caucus?
So what we want to focus on is the floor session today, not just random bills that are being introduced.
Well, the floor doesn't include Rofer. I'm just curious as an update, are you still planning to bring it to the floor at some point? Will we go out and Democratic votes and talk about the floor to pass? Like, what is the plan for Rofer if there is one to get that bill done?
Yeah, it's not on the floor today. We're discussing bills that are on the floor today.
Can you speak to the Middleton tip exemption? How significant is that for this project?
I will turn it over to the bill author, who happens to be standing behind me.
So I was approached by the Minority Leader, Senator Hesselbein. There is a large employer within her district that employs roughly 1,800 Wisconsinites that is being approached by other states and communities. And so happy to work with her on this to retain Wisconsin jobs right here in Wisconsin, and hopeful that we're going to get this through, and appreciate her efforts. And again, this is a great bipartisan bill that is in the best interest for Wisconsin employers and Wisconsin workers. So glad we were able to get here, and appreciate the Senate President as well as the Majority Leader and the Minority Leader working with us to get this through.
As for opposed part of the bill, obviously you guys did it last session, 32-1. Robin Voss has been the roadblock on that. I see some of the finance here at the meeting today. Would you guys try and put it in the budget via finance? You can do it with all 4 Democrats and 7 Republicans and force the issue that way. Is that an option, or is that not something?
You know, like I said earlier, we've been working well with the Assembly this session. We let Robin and the Assembly know that, and Tyler August know that we were taking it up today, just to inform them. But, you know, we think it's vitally important to get done, so that's why it's on the floor today.
Thanks, everybody.